The attack on the FGS Spessart highlights the importance of interaction between different international actors in battling piracy in the Gulf of Aden. The sheer size of these waters makes communication between different navies essential, as any one ship or even task force would have great difficulties getting to an incident in time. Lieutenant Commander Sebastian is responsible for communication between the various NATO ships, and his job is made even more of a challenge by the various other task forces and nationalities operating in the Gulf of Aden.
We're not just dealing with NATO units, we're dealing with EU units, also coalition units, and actually there's some Chinese, Japanese and Indians as well. So that's all challenging, but I'm pleased to say that it's all working very well, and we are working very well together as an entire group. We communicate insofar as deconfliction amongst the task force. Clearly we're all out here to do the same job, and it's important therefore that we attempt to that we do communicate with each other to deconflict, and therefore to provide a more efficient anti-piracy service, for want of a better term, amongst to achieve the overall aim, which is to obviously counter piracy, to allow freedom of navigation for all merchant vessels in and out of the Gulf of Aden. Without doubt, an important mission that we are all doing, regardless of task force, unit, country. It's in everybody's interest, and that is so much proven where we have Chinese and Japanese forces amongst us, and Indians as well. And frankly, the more nations that we can get on side, then perhaps the easier our task might be.
Having extra sets of eyes throughout this very large piece of water is very helpful. So as long as we can maintain the communications, as I said, having those extra set of eyes is very beneficial. However, all of these navies aren't used to working side by side. Of course, as a NATO task group, we are, so our communications procedures are very well established. However, working with, say, the Indians and the Russians is not as well established and can be challenging at times. But we're raking out fairly well.
But it is not just communication with the different navies that is essential to better combat the problem of banditry at sea.
The challenges of the task are clearly identification and situational awareness, and as such we have to know what's going on around us, and we are assisted by the many facets that communications and modern technology bring us, namely that a lot of the merchant ships have communications of their own, and they are able to raise any potential alarms, which we are then able to investigate. And so this is not just a military operation, this is a communal, cohesive operation, well coordinated, and has the full support of the merchant mariner community.
Having seen the pirates' resilience, the NATO forces now decide to focus even more intensely on finding out what they can from those who know best, the merchants and fishermen that regularly cross these hostile waters.
This is Dan Morgan for the NATO channel in the Gulf of Aden.